Hi, it's Melvin Way. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's day 535. As you can see, there's a little bit of progress. Spraying some distilled water just to wash off the leaves and make them free of dust and the occasional cobwebs that little spiders set up, etc. So yeah, it's basically just no more fertilization, just watering, watering, and more watering and waiting. And I'm mostly going to be watering from the bottom watering tray, since I don't want to disturb the soil at the top by just pouring in such a heavy flow of water. If I do it from the top, I usually do it in a ring, and I spin this Lazy Susan on the bottom. So that's about a liter of distilled water. I'll last it for a while. It's day 567. I'm repeating this again. So it's getting into late fall, and the days are getting colder. I've been having to shift this pot further and further to the right on my balcony. But as you can see, it's getting more robust. It's getting bigger. Sort of resembles a nascent pineapple plant or whatever. So yeah, it's just more and more of the same. Just waiting for this thing to get bigger. And yeah, it's probably going to be like this for a long time. Just many more episodes of me spraying or pouring water or just watering in general from the top or the bottom, and until I discern that there's any problem with fertilization, I won't be fertilizing. I did plenty of that this year in 2016. So I just lifted the pot to gauge the wetness of the soil, and it seems pretty light. If you do that regularly with pots, you'll have a very good sense of how much water is in there, which is important. I think the days of worrying about this thing dying from overwatering and root rot are long gone. So 1 liter of water from a can on the perimeter to promote some extra root growth, maybe every, let's see, week or two. That'll do. I'm not really doing any scientific measuring or anything like that. I don't have a soil moisture monitor or anything like that. It's just old school, kind of feel the pot, water is needed, everything looks healthy, just keep doing what you're doing over and over, and that's basically it. So this is kind of tedious, this method of watering. So I'll be looking to get a new kind of watering pail or can. I chose this thing. It's a shiny metal red based on aesthetics, and yeah, it looks beautiful, but it's not all it's cut out to be. There's definitely more optimal stuff out there, so I'll just look around on Amazon and see if I can get something better in the future. As you can see, just 1 liter of watering like this will take forever if you don't want to pour violently and create waves in the soil that will dry out to become like abscesses and dunes. So it's day 598, and I'm doing this watering again. You can see the sun's a lot weaker compared to the last episode after the span of a month. The water is also kind of discolored because I had some water sitting in this can as a storage vessel. I produced too much water with my water distiller, so I just kind of stored some in this can for, I don't know, maybe a few weeks or maybe just a week. And the water looks a little bit rusty coming out. I hope that's fine. I don't think paint really gets in there, but it's just iron oxide, FeO, chemical symbol. So yeah, if the plant needs iron, it's going to get plenty of that, but I'm hoping it doesn't cause problems. I'll probably have to wash off the leaves with the spray bottle after this just to make sure that rust water doesn't do anything to those lower leaves I'm splashing it on. But yeah, the days are getting shorter. The angle of the sun is changing relative to this position. So, during the day, I'm only getting maybe an hour, not even 2, I bet. Sometimes maybe even just like, I don't know, it seems like not even an hour of direct sunlight. So I went back to Joshua Tree National Park in January. This is 2017. And this is a specimen that's every specimen looks different in Joshua Tree, and that's part of the majestic beauty and the fun of it all. The weirdness of this landscape is it's a high desert in California, and as you can see, this sort of looks like it's going to be a palm tree, but actually This is your typical Joshua tree that is as of yet unbranched. So the leaf tips are all dead like this. And yeah, there's a few dead leaves. So if that happens to your homegrown Joshua tree, then that's normal. And that certainly happened to mine. The bottom leaves just die off and produce like a palm tree beard effect that you would see with Mexican fan palms. And these leaves are obviously much bigger, but you gotta wonder how old this thing is, because mine is growing very slowly. And part of that, I think a large part of that, is just because my Joshua tree is on a balcony and only gets indirect afternoon sun, especially during the winter. Even during the summer, it only gets maybe 4-5 hours of direct sun, maybe 6, and that's a real stretch of direct sun. But during the winter, since the tilt of the earth and all affects the angle at which the sunlight strikes, it's a lot weaker, and the duration is much, much shorter. And there's that hill right in front of between the sun and my balcony in the late afternoon, so that prevents an extra maybe hour or two of sunlight from getting you. This is a dead Joshua tree. It looks more conventional in appearance, but I noticed a lot of these things are just hollow inside. So yeah, that stump that I was just showing you is pretty interesting too. And then this is just going to be 3 minutes of hiking footage, very late in the day. In January, you're pretty much going to see sundown by maybe 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So, with just half an hour or an hour to go, it's like this already. Your shadow is really long and the sun goes down really quickly. It's just really serene and quiet around here in Joshua Tree National Park. And every tree is different in appearance virtually, except for the very short unbranched ones. I mean, those, yeah, they pretty much look the same, but they really vary in appearance after that. I mean, some kind of curve and fall down back to the earth, and others branch in just the weirdest ways or just grow on one side. And you can see yucca and, creosote and things like that, and some different species of cholla cacti. So it's really quiet up here. If you just stand still on the trails, you'll hear practically nothing if you're far away enough from the roads, except maybe for the distant rumbling, low-key rumbling of an Air Force base that's nearby. That makes some rumbling, if there's planes taking off, they're testing things. But other than that, during this time of year, I just didn't really hear any animals. Hardly any birds chirping during the day, and I didn't actually see any. I just heard some. And when the sun goes down, I didn't see anything. No mule deer or mountain lions or rattlesnakes or coyotes, or didn't hear owls or anything. So even though this place is really remote and you'd expect animals to come out at night, there's just nothing. To the right, you have a tree that's growing nearly parallel to the ground. So yeah, it's a definitely interesting place. If you get an $80 annual pass, National Parks Pass, I think they raised the price. Coming in here, it's like $25 a pop for a car. So, if you come here 3 times in a year, which I think I've already done, you're pretty much paying. It's paying for itself. Plus, you can go to all the other national parks too, which I do plan to go to some other ones as well. So this is a very interesting place, and if you go on a weekday, there's practically no one. Weekends are a lot more crowded and touristy. But I think a lot of tourists don't go on these trails because they already spent a few hours driving here, and they probably don't plan on spending the entire day in Joshua Tree National Park. Or if they do, they're with kids and whatnot, and they just don't want to spend like a 4-hour block walking on a multi-mile long trail and sweating in the summer heat.
Alright, it's day 641 for my Joshua Tree series. It's been a really long time, and here's my new watering can. It's plastic so it won't rust. You can turn this thing around, you can even see the water level inside it. And you can detach this very easily if you want to. It's made by OXO, it's pretty good, it holds 3 liters. So that eliminates the whole problem with the water disturbing the soil at the top, making pits after it dries out and whatnot. And give this whole plant a good wash and kind of rotate around to give you a good vantage point from different angles. What this plant is like right now. So it's a lot bigger than it was before, but it's not huge or anything. Not even like the totem pole looking ones in Joshua Tree National Park. So yeah, the water stream is very gentle, and this has a lot more capacity than my old metal watering can. So that's good. So I think that's enough for now.